She's my partner.
It's a win-win for both the dog and the Warrior.
68-year-old Sherry Duvall had the idea to start canines for Warriors when her son Brett returned home with PTSD after serving in Iraq. Duvall noticed that when her son was around dogs, he was back to his old self, cracking jokes, relaxed, even happy.
He felt comfortable around the dogs. It could take his mind off of, what he had seen and what he had been through.
Young wasn't sure what worked for Brett would work for him. But today he credits this dog, Whiskey, with saving his life.
I was skeptical at first because I never had a dog. Once I got the dog, about the second day, like a light came on and everything changed.
Before meeting Whiskey, Young could barely leave his house. Now he doesn't think about suicide. He thinks about the future.
Now I go out, no problem. If I start to get stressed out or have an anxiety attack, I just pet her and relax, and that takes all the anxiety away.
Sergeant Alonzo Lunsford is counting on the program to do the same for him. He's just days away from meeting his service dog for the first time, an Irish wolfhound named Bomber.
I'm very excited, actually, because this is something that I know in long term that it has a huge benefit.
In honor of all those who serve. Thanks for watching. AC 360 with Wolf Blitzer starts now.
Aaron, thanks. Anderson is in the Philippines. He's trying to fly into the hardest hit area, Tacloban City, but heavy rain right now is making it very hard for planes to land. The rain is part of the new tropical system arriving hard on the heels of the typhoon. The storm left Tacloban in terrible, terrible shape, almost total devastation in much of the city. Nearly 250,000 people lived here. Now entire neighborhoods are gone. Survivors filling the streets, bodies lining the sidewalk. There are bodies, in fact, everywhere. What there isn't enough of is food and, crucially, drinkable water. Access into and out of Tacloban is extremely difficult. U.S. Marines are helping to make the airport capable of round-the-clock operation. Efforts are underway as well to gain access to even more remote locations. American and British warships are steaming into the area, including an American aircraft carrier. Especially terrifying right now, no one yet knows the full scope of the damage from this record-setting storm. More from 360's Randy Kay.
The terror of Super Typhoon Haiyan began with its winds. Gusts reaching up to 235 miles per hour, well above the threshold of a Category 5 hurricane. All many can do is simply pray. As millions brace themselves against Haiyan's winds and punishing rain, it's the storm surge that would cut the biggest path of destruction. Walls of water up to 20 feet high, engulfing entire neighborhoods. The typhoon rages into the night. Dawn brings an eerie calm after the storm, and with it, the first glimpses of the full wrath of Haiyan.
Get international help to come here now. Not tomorrow, now. This is really, really like bad, worse than hell.
Your husband.
Worse than hell. Buildings are now mangled piles of wood and metal. Family members pick through debris in a desperate search for their loved ones.
I've not spoken to anyone who hasn't lost someone, a relative or close to them.
Officials fear up to 10,000 people dead. The exact number made difficult to determine, not only because of the endless piles of debris that might hold bodies, but also because the Philippines is made up of thousands of islands. Many live in remote areas, only accessible by boat or by air. Here on Cebu Island, the injured are being rescued by military chopper. But many other islands are still completely on their own. One of the hardest hit areas is here in Tacloban. A massive ship hurled far inland shows the raw power of the typhoon. With thousands clamoring for food, water, and medical attention, authorities are forced to focus on the needs of the living before turning to those who didn't survive.
3 days on since the storm itself, there are still bodies by the side of the road. Now, we can't show you the faces of these bodies as it's just too graphic. You can still see the terror as the wave hit on the faces of these bodies.
An estimated 620,000 people are homeless from the storm. The government simply overwhelmed and calling on the international community for help. The U.S. military has now taken control of the airport in Tacloban and is flying in badly needed supplies.
It's almost the end of the world. Our goal is I must go out of this city.
3 days after what's likely the strongest storm in recorded history, its full impact just starting to be discovered. Randy Kay, CNN, New York.
Some of the most terrifying footage you just saw came from the hotel where CNN's Andrew Stevens was reporting. I want to quickly show you some more of those moments, what they were like. In this clip, the reporter became a rescuer.
It's a relatively secure area, I think, where we are. It's a very substantial hotel, this, and we are away from windows. But all around us, you hear the sounds of windows breaking, you hear the sounds of large objects falling and crashing to the floor. And underfoot, it is now just a deluge. And if you look behind me, I don't know if you can see it, the staircase behind me is now basically a waterfall.
And then a torrent of black water began pouring into the hotel. The storm surge had begun.
Go upstairs.
Within a few minutes, it was at ground floor window level. A panicked family, now trapped in their room, smashed the window and screamed for help. We managed to get the mother across to safety using a foam mattress, and it immediately became clear the cause of her panic. Their daughter was severely disabled. Storm chaser Josh Morganman and I went back across to get the terrified girl to safety. And CNN producer Tim Schwartz helped rescue the rest of the family.
And Andrew Stevens is joining us now. Andrew, your images during the typhoon, they are amazing to have been inside what may have been one of the strongest storms ever. So give our viewers around the world a little flavor of what it was like.
It's mind-numbing, Wolf. You're standing there and all around is just noise. It's like you hear screaming winds and they howl through smashed glass. There's constant smashing of glass. There's constant sort of large objects crashing down on your head around the roof. There's flying debris everywhere and a funny, strange white haze. That's the only way to describe it. You look out the window when you can, when you think it's safe enough, and you see just a white haze, and the trees are bent virtually horizontal, and you sit there and you're thinking, okay, I have done everything I can do. I am in one of the strongest buildings in this city. We are away from the windows. We are just going to hunker down now in the corridors. We've got a lot of people around us. We've got things we've got to look after each other. We've got to look after our kit as well. I don't think any of us ever thought that this could have possibly have been the end. But when that storm surge came in, we're thinking, just how high is this going to get? Because one of our weather chasers, a regular contributor to CNN, James Reynolds, tells us that he said his biggest concern was this storm was going to generate a big wave. I mean, let's call it for what it is. It's a tsunami, that water level rising so quickly. And he said, look, I haven't seen a storm like this in my life. There is just this, it is literally the perfect storm. And the way the storm surge came up, and we're thinking, well, just where does this end? And as we said in the report, it didn't get much higher than getting near the first floor, but still, it was certainly a worrying moment. That, you know, sometimes, Wolf, you just sort of sit there, you tough that stuff out, you just wait for it to get better, and you hope like hell.
You know, Andrew, I know you traveled, about 14 kilometers from the hotel you were hunkered down into the airport where you are now. So what was it like, that trip? Because by all accounts, the roads are just in terrible, terrible shape.
Yeah, the roads are in terrible shape. The road, and this is the road with a capital T. It's the road that is going to take supplies in by truck to where it is most needed. As I said, open in the last 24 hours. We came out yesterday, and it's 14 kilometres, what's that, about 9, 10 miles. took us 4 hours. We were getting out and walking pretty regularly because the traffic just clogs, it snarls all the time. So getting relief on that road is going to be a long and painful process. But the really worrying issue for us, Wolf, is that we didn't see any relief trucks coming in. There was no evidence that they were actually using the road. I don't know why. We haven't been able to get any answers to that. So it is choppers that are providing the lifeline at the moment, and choppers can only take so much in. And I should say right now that it's just gone 9:10 in the morning. We've been up since the early hours, and none of us here have heard a relief chopper take off to head to the city. We've had several C-130 flights coming in. We've even had a couple of commercial flights coming in, but nothing getting from here, where I am now, into the city, and that is where the relief is needed.
Yeah, that is extremely depressing news, Andrew. Making your way around Tacloban, this city, the past few days, the devastation is clearly enormous. Have you ever, in all your years, seen anything like this?
No, I haven't, Wolf. And the storm devastation is just, it's extraordinary. The images of the tsunami, the Asian tsunami of 2004, are the first and probably the best comparison to make, where entire villages have been shattered, disappeared. I remember that tsunami came ashore in several countries. I was talking to our producer, Tim Schwartz, who was in Banda. He got into Banda Aceh, and he was saying that the devastation there, he was saying it is reminiscent of what happened there. Of course, you've got Fukushima as well. So it's on this sort of scale. What we don't know yet, and like Sri Lanka and like Indonesia and like parts of Thailand in the tsunami, we just don't know how widespread, how big a scale this disaster is. This is a coastal strip. It goes on for several hundred kilometres, obviously, on the island. The storm was several hundred kilometres wide. Obviously, at the outer edges, this is going to be absolutely fine. But the closer you get in towards the eye wall, the more vicious those winds and that storm surge is going to become. So we don't know. There is no information. We keep asking people, what are you hearing? No one is hearing anything. You know, I spoke to the president yesterday, and he said, I don't know. We're sending people out, boots on the ground, to find out what's going on. But just getting to those places is going to be a problem. There are roads opening further down the coast, getting people up here, but not enough to really get the information that's so desperately needed quickly. And, Wolf, it is all about time now.
Time is clearly critical right now. Andrew Stevens, hold on for a moment. I want to bring in the man you just mentioned, the storm chaser, who was with you during some of those most terrifying moments. James Reynolds' camera was rolling and showed us how it unfolded. Take a look at this.
Maybe here. Okay, come on, guys. One more. Any more in there, Josh? Two more. Last. One more? We're good, everyone? Okay, I can feel electricity in the water, guys. My legs are tingling.
And James Reynolds is with us now. James, amazing video. We saw you there in that video with your fellow storm chasers, some staff from CNN rescuing people outside your hotel. Take us back to that moment when you realized you had to stop covering what was going on and start helping to save lives.
Wolf, it was a really sickening feeling. The screams, we could hear them even above the roar of the storm, and the smashing of glass. Instantly knew that someone was in grave danger, and we could see just the desperation of a woman trapped in that hotel room, you know, smashing through the glass windows with her hands to try and get out. And that is when it was really a life and death situation. My colleague Mark, he went out to immediately try and go to their assistance and ended up injuring himself. But luckily, the team, my colleagues and the CNN crew managed to find some flotation devices, a mattress, and extricate everyone from that specific hotel room. And I'm glad to report that in our hotel, no one died. Wolf.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to hear that. You covered some 35 typhoons over your career, and you say this is absolutely the most severe and appalling one you've ever been through. Is that right?
Absolutely, Wolf. When we were monitoring the storm before it hit Tacloban, my team and I, we were just absolutely speechless at this, the storm, how strong it was getting. You know, it was at the extreme upper level threshold of a Category 5 if it was in the Atlantic. It was a very, very frightening thing to witness just from a scientific point of view. This will be a case study storm in the future, but obviously right now the focus is on the horrendous aftermath, the desperate people who are suffering beyond imagination in Tacloban right now and for the days to come, Wolf.
And Jim, you had to be rescued by military chopper. How desperate was the situation on the ground as you were all preparing to leave?
The situation was starting to, what I would say, escalate. In the immediate aftermath, I did get the sense that some people in a shell-shock state didn't quite get the gravity of how severe it was. But in a situation like this, as time goes on and people become hungrier and more desperate for water, the mood is only going to get more tense. I'm obviously not being on the ground there right now myself, but even just 36 hours, it was a desperate situation. There was no sense of help, no sense of a concerted military presence or any aid getting in. And from what Andrew was saying, it doesn't seem like much has changed in the following few days. We were very fortunate to liaise with a military official who got us on a helicopter to the airport, and from there, a military flight out. And that was very miraculous that we managed to do that, and also I think beneficial that we could get our pictures out of what the situation was like on the ground in Tacloban, Wolf.
James Reynolds, thanks very much. Andrew Stevens, thanks to you as well. It doesn't seem possible that things could get worse in Tacloban, but they have in just the last hour or two, as we've been reporting. Another storm is dumping more rain on the region tonight, and it's blocking relief and rescue efforts. It's also keeping Anderson and his team from touching down in Tacloban. Their plane had to turn back and head back towards Manila. Anderson is joining us now from Manila, from the airport there with more. Anderson, I know it was tough trying to get into Tacloban, but at least you're back on the ground in Manila.
Yeah, it was a really dicey situation as we were actually very close to Tacloban on a plane and then got the word that we had to turn back because of the approaching storm. We're told there may be a little bit of a break in the weather. We may try to do it again to try to get in there really before the worst of the storm, which is that we anticipate later tonight. It is already Tuesday here, but obviously any difficulty for planes to land in Tacloban, that has serious repercussions, serious consequences for all those people on the ground who are just desperate for food and water and shelter. I want to bring in Chad Myers at CNN Severe Weather Center just to get a sense of where this approaching storm is and how bad it's going to be for the people here. Chad, what's the latest on it?
You know, Anderson, I think this is all over in about 6 hours. The back edge of the storm right about here right now as it's passing on by. The problem that you had with your airplane was that you got into instrument flight rules. There are no instruments on the ground to send signals up to the airplane. So all of a sudden, an MVFR, Visual Flight Rules Day, turned into an IFR day, and you couldn't land because the instruments just aren't going to work because there's nothing transponding back up to your airplane. You didn't have to go very far. A couple hundred miles at most, but that's the problem. When you got this cloud mass coming into your area, it covered up the airport, got the ceilings too low, and they couldn't land for you here. I do expect, though, probably in the next 4 or 5 hours, this is all over. I know we've talked about approaching storm, but approaching storm means leaving storm here in the next 12 hours. It'll be gone by tomorrow morning, and that's the good news. It'll still rain for a while, and you know, it doesn't matter how much or how little rain. If you're trying to recover your life without a roof over your head, without fresh water to drink, without any power, any type of rain, any type of wind is just a nightmare.
And you know, Chad, one of the things that was a blessing in this typhoon is the lack of heavy rain for a sustained period of time. But it really was the storm surge, which people did not expect, which has caused so much of this damage, right?
Absolutely. You know, we had storm surges. I know that we probably were in the 16 to 20-foot storm surge range. And on the westernmost area of the easternmost island of the Philippines, I absolutely can tell there was a 30-foot surge that ran completely over that island. A lot like what happened in Hurricane Rita down near Galveston, down near Houston. And it just washed completely over the island, took everything with it, all the homes. And, you know, we're showing Tacloban, and I understand this is an urbanized city. 220,000 people live in this city. There are another couple 100,000 that live in villages that got the same type of wind, the same type of water, the same type of surge. We haven't heard anything from them. We can't even get there. There are hundreds of thousands of people, even in worse shape than the city we're showing. But we're there because that's where we can get. This is a story that will last for weeks, if not months. The survival, the recovery will take years, if not decades.
And I've been getting a lot of tweets from viewers around the world saying, you know, my relative is in this small place, in another small town, not in Tacloban, where there has been the focus, where journalists have been able to get, and relief workers. But as you said, Chad, there are a lot of small outlying areas that have not been visited yet. And there's a lot of concern about the condition of the people in those areas. A lot, frankly, we still do not know. The bottom line, we don't know how many people have been killed by this typhoon. We simply do not have accurate numbers on that. We have a lot more to cover all throughout this hour of our live coverage from here in the Philippines. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the international relief effort and the efforts of groups like the Red Cross, the difficulty they are having just even getting vehicles, getting trucks to cities like Tacloban. We'll be right back.
Anderson Cooper 360, brought to you by Ameriprise Financial. We've helped millions of Americans retire on their terms. Find out more at Ameriprise.com.
Americans take care of business. They always have and they always will. That's why you take charge of your future, your retirement. Ameriprise Advisors can help you like they've helped millions of others. Listening, planning, working one-on-one to help you retire your way with confidence. That's what Ameriprise Financial does. That's what they can do with you. Ameriprise Financial, more within reach.
We got a job to do here. We're grinding down prices, and we're going to deliver the best deal.
How do I know you have the best price?
Because I'm the coach, Steve. We price check over 500,000 products a week to make sure of it.
Overstock.com. At Humana, understanding what makes you different is what makes us different. We take the time to get to know you and your unique health needs. Then we help create a personalized healthcare experience that works for you. And you. And you. With 50 years of know-how and a dedicated network of doctors, health coaches, and wellness experts, we're a partner you can rely on. Today and tomorrow, we're going beyond insurance to become your partner in health. Humana.
Don't miss a step. Nothing's missed with Tena Twist.
Discover fearless protection for the unexpected leak. Introducing Tena's stylish, active, and anywhere. So absorbent, even when you twist, not a drop escapes.
Nothing's missed with Tena Twist.
I joined because one of my mom's best friends met her husband on Match.
My girlfriend met her new fiance.
Hi.
Did you know that people who join Match are 3 times more likely to find a relationship than people who don't?
3 or 4 of my friends got married to people that they met on Match. Are you ready? Yes. Here it goes.
My cousin met his wife on Match. My brother met his girl. I guess you could say Match runs in the family.
Match.com. More dates, more relationships, and more marriages than any other site. Start for free today.
Types of hotels for every type of trip. Save up to 20%. Plus, get 1,000 rewards points when you book at bestwestern.com.
Compare prices across hundreds of travel sites. Just one click with TripAdvisor.
I'm Christiana Manpour, and this is CNN.
This is the Tacloban Convention Center. We're told by the locals that a lot of people came in here to try and protect themselves from the storm. But as you can see, the water reached the second story, and the locals say that anyone that was on the ground floor, not expecting this storm surge, simply didn't make it.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Randy Kay. Anderson will be back with us momentarily. Meanwhile, CNN's Paula Hancock's on the devastation in Tacloban. She joins us now from there. Paula?
Well, Randy, it really is a desperate situation here, and the weather is not making things any better. Consider you don't have a home, you may have lost relatives, and now you have to cope with torrential rain. So shelter is an immediate concern for those hundreds of thousands of people who are likely to have lost their home, and the weather is expected to get worse as well. Now, hundreds of people, thousands of people are coming here to the airport to try and get out of this devastated area. There are military planes leaving, there are a couple of commercial planes leaving, and people are carrying everything that they possibly can, or everything that's left of their lives after the storm, and trying to leave the devastation behind. Now, we drove just a few kilometers down the road, the main road into the city of the city itself, and this is obviously a crucial artery for the relief effort. It's just been cleared. But it was shocking to us that 3 days on, 3.5 days on, there were still bodies lying by the side of the road. They had not been cleared at this point, and many residents and survivors were coming up to us and ask why they're not being cleared. They have to try and survive in the rubbles of their homes, and yet they have just outside bodies by the side of the road. So there is an immense amount of work to do here, just basically for the health reasons. Randy?
Paula, I'm curious what the security situation is like there, and if there's any looting taking place that you've seen.
Well, we understand there was looting towards the beginning, just after this happened. Obviously, desperate people will do desperate things, and the grocery stores were looted. People needed food and water. The pharmacies were looted. The Red Cross told us that they have no medicine because they can't go to the pharmacies. It's all gone. People took medicine that they didn't necessarily need, but they were desperate. And of course, there has also been other kind of looting. We understand that there's a few hundred security personnel within the city itself now. The police we saw on Monday were setting up checkpoints along that route as people desperate for food and water, when they saw a truck laden with food and water, were jumping on board and grabbing what they could. So they have police protection now. But this isn't a violent situation. It is the fact that people are desperate to get food and water, and it's not getting to everybody who needs it. It's getting to the airport, but there's a real bottleneck as you're trying to take it to those people in the more remote areas, and even in the center of the city where 250,000 people live, and it's just not getting there quickly enough at this point. Randy?
And Paula, I mean, this is certainly familiar territory for you, not necessarily there, but you have covered disasters around the world. How does this one compare?
It was interesting. As soon as I landed and came through the airport, which has just been decimated, you can see the destruction around me. It looked exactly like a tsunami had run through here. Let me just show you some of the destruction. You can see many of the people just arriving now. One man said a very interesting thing to me. He said, if the government had warned us that this was going to be like a tsunami and used the word tsunami, we would have got out of town, we would have evacuated. But what they warned us was that it was going to be a storm surge. People don't understand what a storm surge can do. They don't realize how deadly it can be. So he said if the word tsunami had been used, he believes more people would have evacuated. Randy?
Paula, thanks very much. And now we want to get you back to Anderson, who is in Manila. Anderson?
Yeah, Randy, as Paula was saying, so many people, they have been through typhoons before, but it was that storm surge which brought walls of water through Tacloban that really surprised a lot of people and moved an awful lot of debris. We've got to remember, when there's so much water moving at such a great speed. There's a lot of debris in that water. A lot of people died. A lot of people got injured from debris hitting them in the water as they're trying to stay from prevent themselves from getting swept away. I want to bring in Richard Gordon, who is CEO and chairman of the Philippines Red Cross. Richard, in terms of the difficulties of getting aid to people in Tacloban right now, what is the hardest part for you?
The heavy lifting of goods that are needed, like a lot of food, water filtration plants, trucks, it's heavy going. It's hard going. And we're almost there, but hopefully we'll make it by today. We started 2 nights ago. Hopefully we'll be there. We came by land from Manila, and another group is out in the other province on its way there, and it will carry 25,000 food parcels for our people.
I understand that one of your trucks with aid actually had to turn around because of security concerns. What happened?
That's correct. They were stopped at the bridge. The moment you stop right now, people are going to mill around. Any helicopter, any truck that stops or lands are going to be surrounded by people who are in need. And that's why we have to have strong measures by the authorities to ensure that humanitarian services and goods are delivered to the area. They would be very much needed, and it would be really great if they can move faster.
How concerned are you about the rain that's coming today just adding to people's misery there?
We're very concerned because the land may be saturated with water, and you may have landslides or flash floods. I'm not very much concerned about storm surges, but nonetheless, you made a very good point about storm surges, because they have to understand what it is all about. It's like a mini tsunami, but we're not worried about that at the moment. But we need to know that any typhoon could turn for the worse and have landslides or floods. So we're very concerned about that. In fact, I'm trying to find out whether we can still go through in spite of that typhoon.
And Richard, in terms of people wanting to donate, wanting to help, well, what kind of things does the Red Cross need most? Is it just simply a matter of money?
Well, it's easier if it's money, but you know, if they want to donate, we'll take it in kind. But it's, you know, there is always, you know, the sorting it out and bringing it over there. They could be better off bringing it in Cebu. We have a Red Cross warehouse there in Cebu, but they could donate. Fund Generation, redcross.org.ph would be a very good website to do so.
Richard Gordon, I know you're busy. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. We'll no doubt check in with you throughout the coming days. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk to the mayor of Tacloban to find out the situation on the ground as it is right now as this new storm approaches. We'll be right back.
Peace of mind is important when you're running a successful business, so we provide IT services you can rely on. With CenturyLink as your trusted IT partner, you'll experience reliable uptime for the network and services you depend on. Multi-layered security solutions keep your information safe and secure, and responsive dedicated support meets your needs and eases your mind. CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
1.21 gigawatts? Today? That's easy. GE is revolutionizing power, supercharging turbines with advanced hardware and innovative software, using data predictively to help power entire cities. So the turbines of today will power us all into the future.
Holy great look.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, hey, Flo.
You want to see something cool? Snapshot from Progressive.
My insurance company told me not to talk to people like you.
You always do what they tell you?
No.
Try it and see what your good driving can save you. You don't even have to switch. Unless you're scared.
I'm not scared. You know, we can still see you.
No, you can't.
Pretty sure we can.
Try Snapshot today. No pressure.
and just give them the basics, you know. I got this. Is it that time? The son picks up the check. I'm still working. He's retired. I hope he's saving. I hope he saved enough.
Who matters most to you says the most about you. At MassMutual, we're owned by our policy owners, and they matter most to us. Whether you're just starting your 401k or you're ready for retirement, we'll help you get there.
Tomorrow, Jake Tapper talks to Sarah Palin, Alaska's former governor and the apple of the Tea Party's eye. Her role in the Republican Party, what's next for her family, and her fight in what she calls the war on Christmas. The Lead, tomorrow at 4 on CNN.
Tonight on Al Jazeera America, change the way you look at news. At 9 p.m. with an encore at midnight, go deeper on the nation's top stories with America Tonight.
A fresh take on the stories that connect to you.
Investigative journalism that's engaging, powerful, thought-provoking.
There's nothing but hopelessness. It's either kill or be killed.
America Tonight, right after live news at 8 and 11.
Welcome to Al Jazeera America. I'm John Siegenthaler, and here's a look at the headlines.
Al Jazeera America. Tune into Channel 107.
Hey, Aunt Caroline. Does Uncle Bill have a second?
Honey, do you have a second for Kevin?
Is it about switching to Comcast Business again?
Sweetie, what's this about?
Switching to Comcast Business again?
Yes, that's what this is about.
Is it still up to 5 times faster than DSL?
I believe so.
Tell him I'm busy downloading.
He's busy downloading.
Exactly.
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 Switch to Comcast Business Internet today. Then get voice and TV for just $34.90 more a month.
Right is Samberlin.
And I'm John Berman, and this is CNN.
And welcome back to our live coverage here of Typhoon Haiyan. I'm Anderson Cooper reporting live from Manila. We're supposed to be in Tacloban for this broadcast, but our plane had to turn out at the last minute due to some severe weather that was moving into the air. So we're broadcasting actually from the airport here in Manila. But I want to, we've just now started to get a lot of the details of how people actually survived this storm. And there's some remarkable stories. The mayor of Tacloban, Alfred Romualdez, joins me now. And frankly, Mr. Mayor, from everything I have heard, you are very lucky to be alive. I understand you at one point had to punch holes and climb onto the roof of your house. What happened?
Actually, it wasn't a house. It was beside my house. There was a big ballroom, and the ceiling was about 20 feet high. And the next thing we knew, that we were just, when the waves came in, it just brought us up, and we had no choice but to punch a hole in the ceiling and hide between the ceiling and the roof. And the waves were breaking in the roof. And the place was a resort, and it's like a ballroom, so it's a huge roof and a tall roof. And the waves just came so fast. And but worse than that was the wind. The wind was just so strong that the visibility was about 10-15 feet. You just no way you could even look, because it was so strong that it would practically pull out your eyes. It was the first time, we've ever experienced that. And you couldn't see anything, and it was just howling with wind.
In terms of how your city is right now, there have been estimates of different death tolls. Explain, do you have any sense of fatalities in your city, and people who are wounded? Do you have any numbers?
Well, the numbers that we've seen physically that we have retrieved is about 250 bodies already, but we can now only search more with some smell, with the smell that, because a lot of bodies were mixed up with all the rubble and all the debris. And we're getting reports also of some houses that were buried, and we see some bodies floating, and these are the things that these are the stuff that we're trying to do to retrieve right now. But accessibility is still a problem in some of our small communities, because all the debris is just scattered all over, and it's very difficult to get into these places.
What are the greatest needs of people there in Tacloban right now? Food, water, shelter?
Yes, food, water, and shelter are the greatest needs right now. Earlier, it was because Tacloban is a city wherein it's by practice that every time there's a storm in the region or in the area, they take shelter in Tacloban City. And when this thing happened, they were all stranded in Tacloban City. But the first day, we were able to open the roads, and the only accessibility, the access to Tacloban City was through the airport. So there was an exodus of people leaving Tacloban City. And the following day, we were able to open the main arteries going out of the city, wherein a lot of people started to leave. And because they saw that there was no water and there was no food, and they had no choice but try to leave because the relief efforts weren't really enough, and because it was just starting, because we were paralyzed here in the city government, and only about out of 300 policemen, only less than 30 were able to make it and showed up, and many are still missing. Even our own crew in the city government, we're about 1,300 strong, and only less than 100 reported because everything is damaged, even all the vehicles. That's why it paralyzed us, and we could hardly move, and it was all by foot, and it was all through volunteers that we were able to recover many bodies, and we were able to do many rescue.
All right, Mayor, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time this evening. We certainly hope that you get what you need there in Tacloban. We will return to Anderson as soon as we can there in Manila. Meanwhile, the massive effort in the Philippines to rescue the injured and get the food and water to those they need continues. We will speak with a woman coming up next who is searching desperately for her parents there. We'll find out what she knows next.
I'm Beth. And I'm Michelle, and we own the Paper Cottage. It's a stationery and gift store. That's cute. What's that? Anything we purchase for the Paper Cottage goes on our ink card.
So you can manage your business expenses and access them online instantly with the game-changing app from Ink.
We didn't get into business to spend time managing receipts. That's why we have Ink.
We like being in business because we like being creative. We like interacting with people.
So you have time to focus on the things you love. Ink from Chase. So you can.
And just give them the basics, you know.
I got this.
Is it that time? The son picks up the check.
I'm still working. He's retired.
I hope he's saving.
I hope he saved enough.
Who matters most to you says the most about you. At MassMutual, we're owned by our policy owners, and they matter most to us. Whether you're just starting your 401k or you're ready for retirement, we'll help you get there.
For tapping into a wealth of experience, for access to one of the top wealth management firms in the country, for a team of financial professionals who provide customized solutions. For all of your wealth management and retirement goals, discover how PNC Wealth Management can help you achieve. Visit pnc.com/wealth solutions to find out more.
Whatever happened to Challenger, an explanation can be found.
We have a huge, vital task ahead of us.
There's an obvious crack.
There is no way that I'm ratting out my coworkers.
There is a process for us all to follow.
What is this, some kind of game?
People died. I got every intention of finding out what went wrong.
The Challenger Disaster, Saturday at 9. A simulcast event on Discovery and Science Channel.
Half a world away. The most powerful storm ever? Piers asks the experts, what's really going on? Could it happen here? Piers Morgan Live. Next on CNN.
Your Hyundai dealer can't fit all of their amazing deals into one short day, so it's Black Friday every day. All this month, get 0 to at least signing on any of 14 Hyundai models, or buy a Sonata for 0% APR with no payments for 90 days. And get America's best warranty. Or lease the Sonata, J.D. Power's most dependable midsize car, for $139 a month. Hurry, Black Friday every day goes dark for good December 2nd.
So, do you want to come up for a coffee?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, you make yourself at home, and I'll be back.
Sure.
Oh, I thought we were good.
With authentic, expertly crafted roasts and legendary brews, 8 o'clock is the coffee for those who put coffee first.
This is nice.
Chris Cuomo.
I'm Kate Baldwin.
And this
is CNN.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Anderson Coop reporting live from Manila. The sound you hear is a helicopter taking off probably 60 feet from me. I'm actually broadcasting from outside a hangar at Manila Airport. We tried to fly to Tacloban earlier. We had to turn around right before landing due to some bad weather in the area. So we're broadcasting from what was the first to me, from basically very close to the runway of the airport here in Manila. I want to bring in Jacqueline Branscombe, whose parents actually live in Tacloban. She's joining us from the United States. Jacqueline, I understand you last talked to your parents on Friday. Have you heard from them since?
No, I haven't been able to hear from my parents personally, and our family hasn't actually heard from them personally. But we've got word that they are that they found them. They were in Tacloban City during the whole storm, and I just got an update that my parents made it to another town, that they just left Tacloban somehow to get to another town because of the smell and their health issues.
And Jacqueline, this is Randy Kay in New York. I'm going to pick this up while we try to reestablish our connection with Anderson there in Manila. I'm glad to hear some good news, at least, about your parents, but your biggest concern apparently is about your mother's health. What is it about her health?
Yes, a few days before they left to go to the Philippines, they left Chicago on October 31st. But a few days before that, she had to go to the hospital. She has COPD, and she also had some sort of infection, so she had to stay in the hospital for a couple of days. My main concern is that she isn't able to walk around a lot. She's not able to get around on her own without maybe a wheelchair. She can't walk for too long a period of time without her asthma. So one of the things about getting out of the hospital to keep her medications up, she needed her nebulizer to be able to get her breathing treatments. And with the lights out, we don't know the situation, if she's okay or not.
So you and your sisters, from what I understand, you're actually trying to get them out and get them back to the States. How do you plan to do that?
Right now, we don't know. We've been trying to contact, we've been plastering news all over Facebook and Twitter and whatever friends and family we have. We're just trying to find a way to get them to a place where they can fly out to either Cebu or to Manila. I have a sister that has flown to Manila. Her plan originally was to stay in Tacloban for the next 6 months, but with all this that happened, we're trying to get my parents out somehow. We don't know yet.
So tell me about this community that you know and that you love. You attended grade school there in Tacloban. You recently returned for your mother's birthday. So help us understand Tacloban.
Yeah, when I was there, I lived there in 1992, 93, first and second grade, and first was very foreign for me because I was just a child, but I'd grown to love that place. My family is there, my cousins are there. It's just a friendly, it just seemed like home. I went to school, elementary school there. My sister graduated from high school there. At first, it's definitely not like Manila. It wasn't as developed as Manila, but when I recently went back there over the past 10 years or so, things have developed. The cell phone usage is high. The establishments have been growing there. So it just seemed like it was on track. It was really growing.
Jacqueline Branscombe, thanks so much for joining us, and best of luck with your parents. Keep us posted, please.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's get back to Anderson now in Manila. Anderson?
Hey, Randy. Yeah, obviously it's difficult broadcasting under these circumstances, so I appreciate you stepping in every time our signal goes down. We want to check in with other areas besides just Tacloban. Tacloban, as everybody probably knows by now, is a city of some 220,000 people. But there are a lot of other cities in the region, smaller areas, towns even. We're going to check in with our correspondent who's in Cebu to find out how the situation is there when we come back. We'll be right back.
you know. I just don't think I should have to wait for it.
What do you think I am? Quicken Loans?
At Quicken Loans, we won't make you wait for it. Our efficient online system allows us to get you through your home loan process fast, which means you'll never have to beg for a quick closing. One more way Quicken Loans is engineered to amaze.
Bunkers, look at me when I'm talking to you.
Both Maxwell and Ted have hail damage to their cars. Ted is trying to get a hold of his insurance agent. Maxwell is not. He's on Geico.com setting up an appointment with an adjuster. Ted is now on hold with his insurance company. Maxwell is not and just confirmed a 5:30 time for Tuesday. Ted is still waiting.
Yes.
Maxwell is out and about, but Ted's now ex-girlfriend.
Later, Ted!
Online claims appointments, just a click away on Geico.com.
With Basic Talk Home Phone Service, you can make unlimited, crystal clear domestic calls for just $9.99 a month, every month. But if you don't believe me, listen to this trustworthy grandfather and his golden retriever.
With Basic Talk Home Phone Service, you can make unlimited, crystal clear domestic calls for just $9.99 a month. That's every month. No gimmicks. How did you get my house?
Basic Talk, just $9.99 a month. Call, click, or go to Walmart today.
It's hard to see opportunity in today's challenging environment unless you have the right perspective. BNY Mellon Wealth Management has the vision and experience to look beyond the obvious. We'll uncover opportunities, find hidden risk, and make success a reality. BNY Mellon Wealth Management.
She's my mother. I'm her little girl. But now that she's growing older, it's my job to help care for her. But it's still her time to live, and my time to just be her daughter again. How can we get back to that? And who knows the way?
When the time comes to determine how you or your loved one will spend their later years in life, don't struggle. Solve it together. Visit Brookdale.com to customize your senior living solution today.
Peace of mind is important when you're running a successful business. So we provide IT services you can rely on. With CenturyLink as your trusted IT partner, you'll experience reliable uptime for the network and services you depend on. Multi-layered security solutions keep your information safe and secure. And responsive dedicated support meets your needs and eases your mind. CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
How would you rate a travel site that instantly finds the lowest price on the hotel you want? Compare across hundreds of travel sites and save with TripAdvisor.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of Typhoon Haiyan, the rescue and recovery efforts that have been going on for the last several days, really all throughout islands, the Philippines. We've been focusing a lot on Tacloban. Actual death toll we don't have. There's no number that we could give you that we can accurately tell how many people have passed away. We do know the hospital in that city has been overwhelmed. For time, they weren't able to even accept new patients, simply doing basic first aid to people and trying to get as many people out of there who are wounded, who are injured by that massive storm surge, which really surprised so many people in Tacloban. We also have a correspondent, Anna Corin, in Cebu, which is about a 30-minute flight from Tacloban. She has been talking to a lot of people there. There is a lot of loss there, a lot of people still missing. Here's some of what she's saying.
This airfield in Cebu has become the staging ground for the country's biggest relief operation. C-130 Hercules fly-in survivors, all shell-shocked from what they've just lived through.
I cannot say anything yet. I'm still in shock. I'm so sorry.
A lot of people were dead, our friends are dead, some of our family members are dead. So it's really devastating.
As the death toll grows by the day, families here desperately wait for news of their loved ones.
I am the only survivor of the family, and I want to know them if they are still alive.
so many people who frankly just do not have information. Communication is spotty at best, and a lot of areas have not even been gotten to by government officials, by relief agencies. Anna Corin joins us now from Cebu. How are things there today, Anna? What is the situation?
Well, Anderson, the relief operation has certainly stepped up a gear in the last half hour. The largest plane in the world, the Antonov 225, which is a Russian plane, has just landed from China, packed filled with aid. Of course, we know that the people on the ground in the disaster zones desperately need food, clean water, medical supplies and shelter. Now, several C-130 Hercules planes have also landed. They are here to pick up aid and to take it to those areas as well. Obviously, the weather is a real problem. You've experienced it yourself, but certainly here it's been raining, and that could slow down the operation. It's not only going to hamper the relief efforts, but obviously cause a great deal more misery on the ground, Anderson.
In terms of, you talked to a woman who is still searching for her family members. In terms of actually recovery efforts, is there heavy equipment on the ground, or how are people actually, searching through rubble?
Yeah, look, at the moment, Anderson, I really think the focus is just on the survivors and getting aid and supplies to them. We are going into the 5th day of this disaster since Super Typhoon Haiyan, hit the central Philippines. So these people have been without the basic necessities for that many days. Yesterday, we were with the military, went to northern Cebu and to some really remote islands, and we were picking up the wounded and the injured, ferrying them back, people with broken bones, with internal injuries. And this is just a handful. As we flew back to Cebu, there were people on their homes, on their properties, just waving, frantically into the air. There is a real sense of desperation, but the problem is logistics, Anderson. It's getting the aid, it's getting the help out to those people who so desperately need it.
Still so much work to be done in the days ahead. Anna, I appreciate your reporting. Stay safe where you are. We're going to take a quick break. Our live coverage from the Philippines continues in a moment.
Yeah, it's a big mess. But don't worry, cleanup's already underway.
When the things that matter most are on the line, make sure we are too. The disaster recovery team at 1-800-SERVE-PRO. Like it never even happened.
Departure, arrival, search, chat, check in. New foods, new friends, new clients. Connect, live, work, play, breathe. Book now, and you can earn up to 4 times more honors points at Hilton Garden Inn.
Grandpa, my teacher, Mr. Higgins, met a lady he really likes.
Nice.
No. He met her on one of those other sites, not eharmony.com.
Oh?
I told him it would never last.
Caroline.
I told him eharmony.com has made more marriages than anyone else.
That's true.
And eharmony.com has all the hot babes.
I never said that.
I improvised.
Stop waiting. Start communicating for free today.
Mine was earned orbiting the moon in 1971.
Afghanistan in 2009. On the USS Saratoga in 1982.
Once it's earned, USAA auto insurance is often handed down from generation to generation because it offers a superior level of protection and because USAA's commitment to serve current and former military members and their families is without equal. Begin your legacy. Get an auto insurance quote. USAA. We know what it means to serve.
Ain't nothing out there can kill Ron Woodruff in 30 days. I got one life. Want it to mean something?
Dallas Buyers Club. Rated R. Now playing in select theaters.
Weekdays are for rising to the challenge. They're the days to take care of business, when possibilities become reality. With CenturyLink as your trusted partner, our visionary cloud infrastructure and global broadband network free you to focus on what matters. With custom communication solutions and responsive, dedicated support, we constantly evolve to meet your needs every day of the week. CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
Tomorrow on New Day, a heartbreaking story. An American parent's children taken without consent to the other parent's home country. CNN travels to Argentina with one father as he continues a 3-year fight for his daughters. Tomorrow on New Day.
Ooh, now it's love. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, now it's love. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Subaru takes you safely on adventures and brings you home memories. Buy a brand new 2014 all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza, well equipped for only $17,895.
Love. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
You know it's coming. Town Fair Tire has the Michelin X Ice 2 snow tire to give you sure starts, short stops, and excellent traction in all winter conditions. At Town Fair Tire, you always get free mounting, free flat repair, free tire rotation, free snow tire changeover, free front wheel alignment with any tire purchase, and the guaranteed lowest price. Drive with confidence this winter with the guaranteed lowest price on Michelin X Ice 2 snow tires, because nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody!
I'm Jake Tapper, and this is CNN.
Welcome back. I'm Anderson Cooper reporting live from Manila. We'll be back 1 hour from now, another edition of AC360 at 10 with all the latest on the rescue and recovery efforts happening in places large and small throughout the islands. In the Philippines, particularly our focus Tacloban and Cebu and some of the other outlying communities where relief has not even gotten to yet. There's still a lot of need here, a lot of people suffering. We'll have all that at 10 o'clock 1 hour from now. Right now, Piers Morgan joins me live. Piers?
Anderson, thank you very much indeed. Obviously, you're in Manila. That's about 500 miles north of Tacloban. What are you hearing about the scale of devastation down there, and indeed the other islands you touched on, which they may not even have got to yet?
Yeah, we actually were flying into Tacloban about 2 hours ago and had to turn around because of bad weather. That's just the latest concern. Another tropical storm coming in, putting more water on the ground, saturating the ground with so many people looking for shelter, so many people looking for food and for water, trying to deal with injuries as well. The hospital in Tacloban has been overwhelmed. They stopped admitting new patients. They were just giving basic first aid to a lot of patients. Relief efforts are underway, but at this point, the needs of the people there are so great. You know, Tacloban is a city of some 220,000 people. We don't yet, Piers, really have an accurate count of how many people have lost their lives, of how many people are wounded and in need of immediate assistance. The accurate numbers simply, we just don't have them. And that gives you a sense, you know, we're now into the 4th day since this storm hit, and it gives you a sense of how tough communications have been for the Philippine government. U.S. Marines are in Tacloban helping out at the airport. They're hoping to get the airport up and running on a 24-hour basis in order to get relief flights. That's been one of the problems, Piers. There weren't lights at the airport, so it was very difficult to fly in there in the kind of the large-scale type relief operations that are needed. Hopefully that's going to start moving again with this weather system moving in over the next 6 or 7 hours. That's definitely going to cause a crimp in some of the plans. We'll continue to follow it, though, for the next several days, Piers.
And Anderson, we know that American military have been sending in lots of aid. The Chinese have sent a huge plane full of aid, apparently, as well. Lots of countries helping now. But how restrictive is it for them at the moment to get that aid where it's needed, given the current horrendous conditions continuing?
Yeah, it's a really good point. I mean, there's so much debris on the ground. It was really the storm surge, you know, which when you see it on the ground and you're looking at the images, it reminds me of the tsunami that we saw both in South Asia and also in Japan just a couple of years ago. You know, that water really picks up all the debris and deposits it on the roads. Often it's 20, 30 feet high, these piles of debris. You can have a car buried under a house. Who knows how many people are buried underneath in this rubble. So even getting a truckload of aid down a road can take a long, long time. And there's also concerns about security, about any time a vehicle stops, about people who are in desperate situations trying to get some of that aid. So it's a very tricky situation on the ground, and it's going to take some time in order to get the aid, get the relief, and really even get an accurate picture of what the government officials here have to deal with. Because there are a lot of communities, as we've been saying over the last several days, a lot of communities that have not been reached yet, where they really do not have a sense of what the needs in those communities are.
Yeah, utterly devastating. Alison, I know you're going to try and get down to Tacloban, so we'll leave you to try and get on with the planning for that and probably speak to you later on. Thank you very much indeed. And I want to go to CNN's Paula Hancock. She is in Tacloban right now. Paula, obviously it looks to us just utterly devastating. What is it like on the ground? Put it into some perspective for me.
Well, Piers, it's quite simply a horrific situation. These people have been to hell and back. One lady told me it was worse than hell. To survive such